Okay, so my son's just got a new little titanium Toke stove to test this out. We're going to do a test burn first because it's smart to do a test burn not when you get in the bush, but around the home, so you know whether the thing is working and you know how to use the thing properly. Otherwise, you know, that's a big problem. So he's just putting the burner chamber together now, and that sits in top of the top. The whole thing is titanium. So now we're going to get some fuel together. So we've got leaves, gum leaves there, and we've got a few hardwood sticks. These are eucalyptus sticks. You can see that the size of the chamber is not that big, you know. So if you put things, you can't be any bigger than kind of like that. There's my hand to get an idea. So you could pack them in there, but we'll put a few leaves in to begin with. Let's put some leaves in to get so we can get this thing going. I'll put a few more in. Right, okay, wait on, here's pops. Okay, well, I've got over a litre of water here. It's cold water. And we're going to do just a test burn on this Toke's titanium stove. We've got the sticks here. And as I said, you know, a test burn, you can hear a car going past there. We're not in the wilderness. We're in our driveway because it's smart to test these things before you get out in the wilderness. And this is pretty high calorific wood, this eucalyptus wood. We don't have much, so I just want to see, can that boil water? Is that enough to boil water or not? Anyway, right, let's see if we can get that going. And once it's going, I'll start timing it now. Can you see my watch, right? I'm going to time that and just to see how long it takes to go from scratch, essentially. Okay, so I'm going to put that on top of it now. Let's see if we can get this thing to go. And I'm going to feed in bits of stick from the side. And time how long it takes for this thing to boil this water. A bit of a wind here, you can see that. Even with all the wind, we've got boiling now. Oh, it just went off the boil. It's just a rolling boil a minute ago. After 30 minutes, hold on. A rolling boil a minute ago. Let's just see. No, it's gone off the boil. Oh, yeah, it's boiling now. Okay, there you have it. That was a test burn of the Tokes. That's the small size one. Probably the larger one would be better, but we got a boil, you know, of a bit over a litre of water. It was probably a litre and a half, to be honest, in just a bit under 30 minutes with those branches that you saw. So not much timber at all. I think if we had a windshield, it would have been, its performance would have been much better, you know, because a lot of heat was lost out these side vents here and the top vents there. A lot of flames came out of there, and if there was a shield, they would have been coming out of the top vents, not these side vents. But anyway, yeah, I think it's pretty good, probably for the Australian conditions. I don't know about European, but certainly Australian, where you've got pretty high calorific wood, eucalyptus hardwoods to burn. They've got a lot of energy in those bits of wood, bark, and leaves. So you could, you know, have a fire going with almost nothing other than eucalyptus leaves. A lot of heat in there. But anyway, yeah, there you go. Toke's titanium stove. It has won a design award, apparently. I'd recommend it. Yeah, if you're in that kind of environment, somewhere you've got good high calorific wood and small stuff to chuck in there, if nothing else. Okay, Bush Camping Tools here. Thanks for watching. So we're going to have a look what's left now after 30 minutes of all that wood. And we've still got a bit of wood in there unburnt. Hold on, because really this didn't fall down to the bottom. Let's see what's there. This is all the... These are all the ashes, and there's, let me see, oh, there's a lot of heat over that. So, of course, other than boiling water frying things, I think this would work really well. Now you've got a lot of heat here. You could grill on that. That's pretty hot. There, you see. And that's full of nice looking charcoal in there. A lot of heat coming up in there. Okay. Okay, so I just wanted to cool this down in a hurry. As I said, we're doing this in the front yard. Probably the only bush camping tools thing you've seen in the front yard. I didn't hose it completely because I didn't want to change the temper of the thing, so this is just a mist that won't do anything to it. But this is what's left in the bottom. I'm going to shake this out in a second, and you'll see what was left after all that. What do we have left? There's lovely coals in there. So that's the charcoal that was left over. There's quite a bit of charcoal in there which could be used for another fire if you didn't do anything. But as I was saying, with this amount of charcoal and not boiling water, you could easily fry something, or above the burner. We want to do another test burn, this time with a heat shield, and I'm sure it will boil the water much quicker. But there you go, that's like all the charcoal left over. Just wash this out. I'm going to give it a blast now with the hose. Stand back. Okay, so the problem here is we have the tokes, and it almost disintegrated all the wood, and the water just started to come to a boil. But the whole thing was not going so well, because what we did was we put it on the ground here, and the ground is not flat, exactly flat. And the clearance between the bottom vent and the horizontal is only, less than 5 millimeters. So if it's blocking that bottom vent, the principle of the whole thing, it can't work. It can't get those currents up through it itself. So it's got to be done on a flat rock, preferably, or on some very hard flat ground. It must be flat ground, otherwise it will not work. When we did the first burn test in the driveway of the house, to test the thing, it worked absolutely fine because it was on the concrete, so a perfectly level flat base. But we've got a really oversized billy here. It's a bit much of an ask, really, on that to, overbalance the thing on there. But I just wanted to see how it could do, and it would have boiled that, but I had to stop it because the thing was, it was, just starting to go out here because it was sinking into the wet ground. That was no good. So it can only really be, the usefulness of this stove, it can only be done on dry ground, preferably a rock surface, a flat rock surface. Make sure it's stable, and don't overdo it like this with a bigger pot. Of course, this was just an experiment. I wouldn't have stuck a bigger pot on like that for real, but nonetheless, there you go, tokes, and I think it will work quite well. We're going to follow it up anyway, so Alright, let's see what happens with this. It's pretty windy. Try to put a bit of a windshield up here. This is a disadvantage with these, that the flames are hitting the handles. You need a windshield around it. Got this rock here, but that's about the best I'm going to get on that. But we're going to see whether we can boil this water. It's about half a litre. It's safe though, because it can't go anywhere. It's contained. It's no different to a small stove. Okay, a bit of wind there. We'll see what happens. Okay, so it's been going for, we started at 13:52, it's 13:58, that's 6 minutes, and you see there's starting to get bubbles on the bottom of it now. See that there? So that's pretty good, okay? Let's keep going. Okay, it's really necessary to have a windshield. As I said, you know, like 6 minutes, we've got small bubbles forming on half a litre. So maybe it would take 12 or more, it depends. We started off with cold water, so it's kind of like not to cheat with hot water in there. It was quite cold, it's very hot here now. But I think, you know, if there was no wind at all, this would definitely perform a lot better. But this is with one small branch. The branch was about maybe, well, here it is. Here you can see how thick it is. It's about 1.5 centimeters, not almost 2 centimeters maybe in diameter, not quite. And that was about 1 meter long. We still haven't used it all. We've got this much here. Here we go. You see that much there left over. And a few twigs, so really quite, there you go, that's all of it. That's all that's left over, so that's pretty good, that's pretty economical. It's 8 minutes exactly, and there you go, it's starting to boil now at 8 minutes. So that's the Toaks titanium fuel stove. That's pretty good, I would say. Yeah, with the windshield, it's definitely necessary to have a windshield. So just put this bit of bush rock there to do that. But yeah, we've got some water on the boil. I'll put that back on there like that. 8 minutes with really not much wood. So it's not a matter of, you're not trying to boil water as quickly as you can with this kind of setup, because this is the kind of setup where you're looking at minimalistic wood to cooking, or, you know, boil a bit of water with. If you really want to cook fast, you're going to use a multi-fuel stove, right? That's what you're going to do if you've got a multi-fuel stove with you, not anything else. Let's listen to that. Should be able to hear that in there now. Hold on. Yeah, we're going to get it boil in there in a minute. It is boiling any minute. We haven't put any more wood in there, so we're just going to let that go. Okay, so we've got a bit of a rolling boil on there now. It just came off, of course, but there you go. There you go, very nice. Get back on there. Okay, I'm satisfied with this. That's how much fuel's left after it had been boiling away for what we started at, it's 9 past. It's been boiling for a good 10 minutes it was boiling for, and that's how much is left. And as I said, that is the total amount of wood left from a small branch. So yeah, and we've still got plenty of fuel in there, and that's if you're boiling water. So if you're cooking something else on there, reheating food or frying something, it'd, you know, be even better for that. So there you go, Toaks titanium. This is the small version. I think the bigger one would be even better. It's won an award, apparently a design award. It has good breathing in there. It is necessary to use a windshield if it's windy, yeah, to keep that heat coming up. But yeah, easy to feed wood into through this hole here. See that there? Right, okay. Bush camping tools here. Thanks.